Hello, hello, and welcome to the Become Your Magic Power Hour, where we meet here every Monday through Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. in order to ignite our abracadabra, in order to recognize the moments that really led us to who we are today, where we're headed. And so that's what it's all about. It's about seizing the opportunity, seizing the moments, being sure that every situation or everything that you are going through or whatever it is that you experience is really adding to the quality of your life so that the investment of time that has been spent is actually fulfilling your destiny, fulfilling your assignment. Basically, real talk. So let me see. Let me get on here and share. Oops. Get my volume down. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I know most of you guys will catch the replay, but as you know, I show up here as close to 12 o'clock as possible, but really with the intention of dropping something off. And so whether you pick it up in real time, whether you pick it up later, just passing through, I just want to know that I showed up in my capacity. I want you to ask yourself, are you showing up with yours? Is every day that you're giving, are you giving of yourself at some capacity? Because it definitely says give in order to receive. And so we are sitting here with our hand out in order to receive. The question is, have you given today? Have you offered today? Have you sold today? Were you intentional today? And so I think we need to even think about what it means to give. And the thing that we have effortlessly is the thing that we should be given. And so, in order to offset our receiving, we have to maximize who we are in fullness, what we can give effortlessly. That way, we can pour out in order to get poured back into, so that we are intentional about what we're doing, who we are, what we're adding, what we're offering, all that good stuff. And so, becoming your magic, I love to describe, just in case this is your first time tuning in, becoming your magic is about you recognizing that you are a supernatural force and that it requires all those abracadabra moments. Becoming your magic is about recognizing that who you are starts with how you think, what you believe, what you see. And so life is really about all of that. Life is really about you understanding that how you see yourself and how you show up is who you are. It is your magic. It is the essence that is you. And so we would understand that our essence, it really does begin from us, our belief system, our encounters, what we're plugged into. Okay, so let me share this into my group. Mm, okay, and that is done. And so today, well, we're only 4 minutes. And today, what I wanted to deal with 365 days of loving yourself to life. If you guys do not already have this book, please go to preciouspaulin.com, or you can also go to I choose me bling boutique.company.site. Let me put the link. Hello, beautiful. How are you doing today? How's life treating you? I caught your video the other day. Very, very inspirational. I love to hear you talking live. I love to see everybody really just coming out of their shell. I think that's what it's all about. 365 days of loving yourself to life is the topic that we're dealing with. And it's really about us operating in who we are. Is really about us actually loving ourselves enough to be confident about our voice. I think it's so powerful that we just came out of the voting season, because what it was recognizing that your voice mattered. It was recognizing that when you begin to actually understand or hear your own voice, you really get to make a powerful impression in the world, a powerful impact, because that confidence of standing up and sharing your story, that confidence, I say, they always say, right now, the internet could be evil or it could be this. And I say everything in life is what you make it. And so for me, the internet is like God. It's like omnipresent. It's the ability to be everywhere and at home at the same time. And so I think that what's so powerful about the internet is the ability to multiply the impact that is you. And so it's about multiplication. It's about really impacting the world. And so we understand that spirit imitates life. And so one, which is you are one being times any number is that number when you multiply, when you're doing multiplication. And so to be able to stand in your story because you have loved on yourself, because you have went through whatever it was that was required for you to be who you are, and that you own that story, and that you're so confident about the you are, that we remove the shame and we get in our lane, that we actually know that what we've endured and how we got up from it, whatever it was, is where people get that power from, where they get that evidence from, where they understand that it was really about you. It was really about how you showed up. It was really about how you maneuvered through your story, through your experiences. And then you picked up tools, those tools of evidence, those solutions, those tools of basically saying, well, I didn't know that this meant this. And when I showed up, this is how it looked. And it starts by loving yourself every single day. It starts by being able to wake up in the morning and spend that meditation, spend that alone time to basically be by yourself and God, to actually forgive whatever it is that you need to forgive in order to tack on to that new energy, that new power. And so today I woke up and I decided that I wanted to do 365 days of loving yourself to life. We'll do a couple of quotes out of the book today. Maybe I'll open up and see what testimony we'll read to. We have 5 different ones in the book. We also have so much prophetic poetry. And so today I wanted you to realize that it is an everyday job. Becoming your magic is about showing up every single day. It is about putting yourself in the position to actually arrive daily, to be intentional daily, to be purposeful daily. And so what this book allows you to do is to tap into the beauty that is you. It allows you to get a step-by-step daily guide into your greatness, daily guide into your future. One of the things that I want to read before we actually open up the book to a page, I want to get the calendar. I want to get the calendar so we can see what is today's date in the calendar. For those of you who do not know, this is the 365 Days of Loving Yourself to Life calendar. Let me explain to you that this right here will give you a daily affirmation, for you to concentrate on. Because I think that what we need to realize is that in order for us to love ourselves 365 days of the year, we absolutely have to start from right where we are. We absolutely have to start from who we are. And we have to be intentional every single day with how we speak about ourselves, how we show up for ourselves, how we support ourselves. And so that is an inside job. That is a job that we do by being intentional with the love that we have for ourselves, of being intentional with the journey that we have been through, to not disregard it, but actually to celebrate it, to realize that those are the celebrations that we should be having. The celebration of rising past that moment, the celebration of being someone different in spite of what you went through, but you recognize it was because of what you went through that made you that special being, for you to be able to deal with the stuff you deal with today. If I didn't deal with what I dealt with yesterday, I wouldn't have the capacity or the strength to deal with new levels, right? What they say, new levels, new devils. I don't believe in quoting any of that stuff. I just believe that the higher you go, the more responsibility you have. The more you know about yourself, the more God expects you to show up for the investment that is you. The more you actually get up past that thing is the confidence for you to talk about it. And so if you're so successful and you've turned your life around and you're not showing people the magic that is you because you're hiding behind what you started at or where you are, you're missing the mark. So anyway, as I was saying, today we're going to see what is today's message in the calendar. So we are on November. Today is November the 18th. It is Wednesday. It says God is waiting for you to discover what's inside. This is the discover your soul beat in order to leave your soul print is the whole message for the month of November. And as you see, these messages don't get old. This is my second year of doing the calendar. So I have a 2019 calendar and now I have a 2020 calendar. It is not too late to order it. Matter of fact, these sayings, these quotes, they will never get old. You can reuse them from year after year. Some people are collecting them. But what I want you to understand is that it all starts with what you think about yourself. It all starts with what you say to yourself. And so God is waiting for you to discover what's inside. I think that's so powerful. Why is that so powerful? Because what's inside is the thing that makes you one of a kind. What's inside is what you are dealing with daily. It is what is extracting that treasure. It is all of those situations that you've been through up to this point is what's building you up to who you are. And so when I think about today's calendar, hey sis, hey Melissa, how you doing today, my love? How are you? When I think about November 18th, God is waiting for you to discover what's inside. And you know what's so powerful about that? Yesterday, I didn't look at the calendar, but yesterday we spoke about becoming the investment that you are, right? Becoming the investment of God. The God invested in you breath. Yesterday was there is a prize inside of you. So every day is going to uplift you in a way to make you remember just who you are. Sometimes we are so boggled down by life that we can easily forget our power. We can easily forget how amazing our presence is. We can easily forget just how instrumental we are to the scheme of life. Whatever role or title you play, that if they subtracted you from their life, how detrimental that could be. Now, that is the energy that we must carry when we have a lack of confidence. We have to sit down and say, who would I be today if I had confidence? What would that look like for me if I was confident in who I was? If I was confident in what's inside of me, how would I show up differently? How would I be that special thing no matter what? And so that's what this journey is, realizing that you are the prize, realizing that what you've been through is what makes you so worthy, is what makes you worth the investment. And until we can begin to recognize that how we show up in our worthiness is how we actually give a return on God's investment to the breath that we've been given. And so until I know that the greatest treasure is inside of me, until I recognize that everything that I've gone through and whatever I'm going through is a part of me bringing back that special piece, is a part of me showing up in the evidence of what faith looks like. It's a part of me showing you what abracadabra means, because I do want to look different. I want to feel different. Every day I want to evolve into something greater, something better. That means there is a difference that is always taking place, that I am looking for higher levels. And so if we talk about climbing the mountain, then there is always going to be change. There's going to be change as you're rising up. There are going to be changes in the atmosphere climbing a mountain. You can be at the low where you got the sunshine and get to the top, it is snow. And so the mountain even shows change. You could be on one side of the mountain where the sun is shining. You could be on the other side of the mountain where there is no sun. And so the question is, do you recognize that climbing a mountain means that you are going to go through different seasons? You are going to see different things. But most importantly, you are supposed to be pulling out your ability to never stop the climb. So that when the sun is shining, you take the best out of that moment. The sun gives you a special type of energy that allows you to move faster, expeditiously up the mountain, give you some sense of, the world is opening up. So it's like, receive that momentum. Be okay with speeding up on that area of your life. Sometimes it may not be, the sun may not be shining, so you cannot move as fast as you was. It may be raining, it may be dark, and so you can't see as easily as you did on maybe your yesterday's situation. But the evidence of knowing that it is a climb, the evidence of knowing and I guess receiving the fact that that's what change is all about. That's what the growth is all about. That's what the story is all about. It is about recognizing that we're going to go through, I would say, a metamorphosis, that there are going to be changes. There are going to be places where we are on highs, when we are on lows. But most importantly, God wants us to realize that it is about you discovering what's inside. It's about you realizing how strong you are, how persistent you are, how unstoppable you are, how willingly you are to commit to the climb. That's what's so powerful, your commitment to the climb. Doesn't mean that you don't get tired. It don't even mean that sometimes you don't wake up and be like, oh God, I just don't want to, I just want to quit. That's not what it means. It means that even after that conversation, you remind yourself how necessary it is for you to complete the climb, how you will become the evidence for somebody else, how it's bigger than you, how serving you serves somebody else. Because while you're not paying attention, while you are living life, somebody is watching you. Somebody is learning how to get up from you. Somebody is learning how to keep on climbing because of you. Somebody is learning their voice because you showed up. And so we don't know who we are influencing. We don't know who we are inspiring. We don't know who is looking. And so we want to ask ourselves, what is the investment that we are making into ourselves 365 days of the week in order to become the fulfillment of whatever that is, in order to become the fulfillment of the climb? And so that's what it's all about. Hey, William, if you're still there, I can't stay on long. I have dental appointment at 1 and have to leave in 15 minutes, but I'm sharing. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Thank you. And so, like I said, today we're at the 17 mark. So we're going to do a little reading. I'm going to keep it nice and simple today. As simple as I can. But I just want to give you just some words of encouragement from 365 days of loving yourself to life. I've been picking up the book lately too, reading back, going over some things. And I think it's super important that we understand what it means to show up, what it means to be who you were created to be. So we're going to start. I'm going to do the preface, and then I'm just going to open it up and do a couple of days and grab a couple of poems in this next few minutes. The preface says it's 365 days of loving yourself to life. To give love at any capacity, it must first be available. You can't give what you don't already have. It's time to give ourselves the thing that we spend our whole life longing for, God's agape love. When we begin to love ourselves in an unconditional way, we will then break the chains of allowing others, people's condition to dictate how we see ourselves. We will begin to make others see us through our eyes instead of their perspective. I love that quote. You teach people how to treat you, because without knowing your quality, you are sure to lose your quantity and ability to overflow. Every time you dim your light because you want to fit in, you lose quantity. Every time you tell yourself, I'm not worthy, you lose quantity. Every time you forget to show up for you, you lose quantity. Understand, not only are you worthy, but you deserve to live a life that keeps you expecting the great treasures of this world. If God blessed you, it was because you deserved it. God is not into spoiling people. And if you don't believe me, ask around. Any great one that has lived and resembles a life you would love to experience has a story. They have a journey. I can almost guarantee you that if you walked a mile in their shoes, you would see why and how they deserve what God has done for them. So instead of considering yourself unworthy, work on becoming deserving by embracing the preparations and understanding to whom much was given, much was required. It's time to meet our requirements to live our lives in purpose, on purpose, by doing the work. We dated ourselves, we disciplined ourselves, uncovered ourselves, supported ourselves, and fed ourselves on all levels, physically and spiritually, but most importantly, loved ourselves. That is the gift that lies within. The gift of unlocking from conception the love that was given to us, our souls. When we truly love ourselves, we free ourselves to be the authentic gift we were made to be. I choose me, hashtag no more excuses, is the key to unlocking your soul and becoming the gift you were always meant to be. May these original quotes and prophetic poetry, complemented by amazing testimonies, help you unlock your soul and bring your gift. The universe is a puzzle, and you are a special piece, a masterpiece, and as I say now, a God piece. The world is waiting on you, so let's get prepared to show up. And so that is just the introduction of the book. And the first chapter is, have you introduced yourself to yourself? When I was, it's 7 chapters, and when I was creating the chapters, I wanted to actually take you on a journey of what it means to go from self-love to self-like, from I see myself to I favor myself, because to be favored is to basically go through the transition of love into like. When I think about something that is your favorite, it is something that you like above all. It is something that you would choose above anything else. And so to be favored and gaining clarity into that favor is about you seeing who you are. It's about you loving who you are. It's about you celebrating that part of you that got you to who you are and where you are right now. So day 1, follow your intuition. It's your soul's compass. Learn to trust yourself so that you can listen to the voice that is you. Day 2, it's not about the title you were given, but the role you play in my life that dictates what you mean to me. I think that is very key. This is one of the places that so many of us get stopped on and stuck on when we're trying to get our soul posture back up through life and experiences, because roles and titles can conflict with us growing, us getting over certain things, because love has a way of grabbing your attention. And there is nothing like love in the roles and titles that God places in your life. And so when you think about what your role and title is, it's about me sitting down, not getting stuck on what that definition is. I love that we do one word conversation with William Brown. It is awesome because it allows you to start to understand the perspective of what words are. And so when I'm in a relationship with you and I understand that you say that mom mean this or hurt mean this, or when we're debating on something, when we have different perspectives on a certain word, we miss each other because we don't understand what we mean. We just understand what that word means to us, and we get defensive in life. And so if I want to know who you are to me, I'm going to sit down outside of what that definition means, and I'm going to decide, what does your presence mean? How are you lifting me? How are you feeding me? How are you building me? Not how you got here, but how will you leave? And if you will stay. And so we got to be brave enough to make hard decisions in our lives. And it doesn't matter who it is, because at the end of the day, we came to bring our best. And if we are not in the company of the thing that extracts the best out of us, we miss out and we lose that experience. That's another key thing with loving yourself 365 days of the year, is basically seeing What does this mean to me? What does this person mean to me? So once again, day 2 is it's not about the title you were given, but the role you play in my life that dictates what you mean to me. And so I'm more concerned, not that you are a sister, not that you are a mother, not that you are a brother, not that you are a father, but who is that? What does that mean? How does it infect me? Not affect, infect. How does your presence infect me? And that is something that you got to ask yourself when you're trying to get over the things. Maybe you have certain people still in your life that are infecting you, not affecting you. And so if somebody is infecting you in a way that is not lifting you up, that is not healing your mind, that is not healing your ideas, then you have to take a seat back and do some work and choose you. And so that's very key. That was one of the biggest things I had to do. It is hard. People will talk about you, people will disagree, but it doesn't matter. It's about you making a decision for your self-care. And self-care means that I am going to be real with my reality. I'm not going to have an imagination of what I want you to be, but I am going to accept who you are so that I can accept who I'm trying to become. And so I have to be clear and I have to be able to speak from my heart, speak from my mind in order to make sure that these relationships are evolving, that these relationships are actually bringing out the best in me. And so people are seasonal, just like that mountain climb. So we got to be real clear on the roles and titles and understanding that it's about how they show up that matters. And so you can change a title halfway through life. You can change somebody's meaning to you by how they show up. And so that's key. That's so key. Hey, Aunt Karen. Yes, I know a lot of people are coming in and going out because, hey, I'm here every day. So like I said, what makes it so great is that I'm always recording and it will be here. And so you can catch me all day long. I do 12 because if I don't get it in and out, honey, you may never see me during the day. So I got to commit to me in order to commit to you guys, whether you are here on live in real time. I just love that you guys get to get the message at any point of the day when you find time to get whatever it is that God has sent through me on this day. Day 3 is we are reading from 365 Days of Loving Yourself to Life. We're doing some self-care today. Well, every day, right? Where I've been and where I'm going will forever be intertwined with who I am and what my purpose consists of. Listen to that quote on page 17, day 3 already. Where I've been and where I'm going will forever be intertwined with who I am and what my purpose consists of. And so that's why I am very key about telling you this is my journey. This is how I got to where I am today. I'm very key about helping you see that what you've been through is so clear. It's such a clear roadmap to where you're going. It is what is going to make you qualified for who you are becoming. There is some special tools, like when you think about anything you purchase, anything you get, anything you do, you think about it having instructions. Well, what you've been through is the instructions to who you are and how you're going to function. What it is that you came to offer, what it is that will be built through your story, through your testimony, the building that is you, the vessel that will impact the world. And so what you have experienced through life, my abuse, my feeling like I was dealing with dealt responsibilities early on, all of those things were intertwined with who I was becoming. To be an advocate, to say that even after you've been through pain, you can love again. Even after you dealt with molestation, you can still find the strength to trust again, to get past that situation. Even after dealing with that childhood trauma, whatever your story is, that if you would sit in it and recognize who you are today, how much strength was built from that story, how much confidence was gained, how much evidence that you have through those different situations, because it was pre-qualifying you for who you are today. And so since we are always arriving, then absolutely yesterday is intertwined in today. It is what we do. It is how we show up in the future. And so if you are going through the process of yesterday, if you are thinking about yesterday, I need you to think about it in the way of, what was it teaching me? What about that can I find strength in? Can I find strength in the fact that maybe I suffered so long with it and I managed to still maintain peace? That's something to think of. That's something to credit yourself for. And so it doesn't matter how you give yourself those different let's say different ways of just saying, I support me, I lift me, I love me, whatever that encouragement is. You need to encourage yourself past those moments. You need to encourage yourself because you understand that what you've been through is why you are who you are today. And so if you have the shame attached to it, if you have the I don't want people to know who I was yesterday, then you're taking away from the magic. The magic is so magical because of how you got over that thing. If you don't speak about how that thing almost took you out and now you are who you are today, then is there any magic? Is there any evidence of your history intertwined? Are you really showing up in your power? Because what makes us powerful is the thing that we found energy in, is in that low place. That's what makes us powerful. The fact that we got up, the fact that we made it past that thing, the fact that we are the evidence. Whatever it is, it doesn't mean that your life is perfect. It just means that after that situation, I still got up. You can go past this moment. You can be willing to put into yourself every day, but understand that your yesterday is intertwined in your today. And if you don't start to embrace your yesterday, if you don't start to share that yesterday, if you don't start to encourage through that yesterday, then you will miss out on what your purpose is consistent of, because there is some testimony, there are some things that only you can offer from your yesterday. And it is have everything to do with maybe the condition that you're in, maybe how you're showing up. So once you make life make sense in the rooms that God places you in, he's going to make why those people are there make sense to you. So it's all about us building and connecting and intertwining with one another, because to create a puzzle is to intertwine, is to connect the pieces. It is to become a three-cord strand, that rope that is unbreakable. And so we got to intertwine our past into our present in order for us to really bust out the future right, in order for us to really impact the future generations, in order for us to impact just our peers. So how are we impacting our peers through our testimony? That's the question. That was only day 3. Day 4 is loving yourself is the key to unlocking your abundance. Loving yourself is the key to unlocking your abundance. Do you know what it means to really love yourself? And this one, I like to always talk a little bit more what it means to love yourself. To love yourself is to basically say that I'm going to show up for me. To love somebody else, if you don't know what it is to love yourself, because God says treat our neighbors as we have treated ourselves. So you have to sit down and you have to ask yourself, if somebody needs me, that I love, not that I don't love, because if I don't love them, if I'm not connected, if I don't have a soul tie, it's of course going to be so much easier for you to be like, oh, I passed. Oh, no, I can't do it. But thinking about somebody that you love, really love, if somebody that you love called you and said, I need you right now, would you show up? If somebody that you love called you and said, I need you to do this for me right now, no matter what you're doing, what do you think you'll do for somebody that you love? Will you say, well, you know what? I'm in the middle of cooking this dinner, and so let me finish. Would you say, oh, well, I have to go somewhere, let me finish? No, a lot of times, depending on what they need, what their needs are, and where you are will really dictate how you show up and how quickly. So sometimes we are in emergency situations with ourselves, with our mentals, with our heart space, but we never show up for ourselves like we would for somebody else that we love, because we think it's selfish. We've been taught for so long to do for everybody else and then get back to us. But we will break our neck to make sure that somebody knows that we wanted to show up for them. We'll break our neck to make sure that somebody knows that we wanted to be there on their birthday. We wanted to remember them on their wedding. We wanted to show up for them in their special events. It doesn't matter what it is. They have this business going on. They need help. I'm going to be here all night, every night, volunteering to help this person. So, if somebody called you and was like, oh, I need your help, how would you volunteer in that situation? Because you love them. You will figure out how can I serve you? So the real question is, are you serving yourself? Are you giving yourself the same attention that you would give to somebody else? That lets you know, are you putting yourself in the same box of showing up, in the same box of being credible, in the same box of being dependable with yourself? So if you say, oh, I want to get this done by tomorrow, and you look at yourself and you're like, well, you know what? It don't matter. I'll get to it. Is that the type of relationship that you have with yourself? If you are in that type of relationship, that's what we have to change. That's why this book will definitely help you get to a self-love initiative. That self-love initiative is about saying that as I would sacrifice for you, I first have to sacrifice for me. I first have to show up for me. I first have to do that work for me. And so having faith in who you are, having the ability to actually realize that you get to unlock your own future with that same energy that you give to so many others. God allows you to actually see the evidence of what you can do. You ever sat down and thought about all the different things that you may have done for somebody else? The things that you got credit for, the things that you may have never gotten credit for, but you know that was you, that it is evidence of what you are capable of, what you can do, who you can be, because you've done it so many times before for other people. So that is what I'm talking about. Being able to love yourself is the key. Being able to say, before I'm willing to make sacrifices for other people, I'm going to first make a sacrifice for myself, so that I have the extra for other people, so that I'm not robbing myself and wondering what it is that I want, but always showing up for somebody else. So sometimes we have to take a break from our relationships to really sit down and recognize, well, what do I like doing for other people? And how can I apply that to my own life? What do I like to do in other people's lives that I do effortlessly, and how can I apply it to myself so that I can start to build up that love relationship, that self-care, that confidence in who I am and the relationship and the friendship that I'm building with myself. And so we got to become our very own best friends. We got to be willing to sacrifice it all. The sacrifice is the time. That's all it is. The sacrifice is merely just the time. It is the time that you spend. It is the time that you use. That is all a sacrifice is. Day 5, it says, be a 4-leaf clover to yourself. Come on. Rare to find, but a pleasant gift that makes you remember how much God loves you. That one day is self-explanatory. Be the 4-leaf clover. You know what it means to find a 4-leaf clover? You feel like you're lucky. You feel like God has smiled upon you. We can make a wish. Well, that's who you are. You're rare. You're a rare, one-of-a-kind thing. And once you get into alignment with your assignment, once you get into a love relationship, once you unlock yourself, that's how you are to somebody else. You are that rare something that somebody got to find, and thank God that you showed up for. Why? Because you were the answer. And so only time people look at that 4-leaf clover is because they're saying, I want to make a wish. The heavens, the world, the energy, it's smiling on me right now because I found this 4-leaf clover. Well, that's you. You are the smile of God. You are the gift, that special, magical force that somebody is looking for when they find you. Is a 4-leaf clover because of the spirit that you embody, because of the experience that you went through, and most importantly, because that gem, that gem of knowledge that you have to give, that treasure, that experience. That's what makes you a 4-leaf clover. Come on now. Day number 6 is your attitude should reflect how high you want to go and not how low you have been. Come on now. Your attitude should reflect how high you want to go and not how low you have been. For anything to rise, it must start at a lower level. Growth is the key to mastering your masterpiece. And so you got to understand that you got to have that attitude of gratitude. That's why I said that we should be writing I am every day. Say something special that you can find about yourself every day. As I said, if this is your first time hearing, go find you any type of book. And I don't want you to get a book where it can rip out. I want you to get a book where the pages cannot rip out. The pages cannot rip out. So like this book right here, this actually, what was this? This is my grateful journal. This is one that's from, this is a 2016 grateful journal. So you see, this book, I didn't finish till I finished every page. So it ended in this book in still 2016, November of 2016 is when I filled up this book. And so I started in September. So I filled up a whole book in 3 months. September, October, November. I filled up a book. But what this does is it allowed me to actually have a reference for myself. Sometimes it's easy for us to listen to other people say, girl, go be great. Look what I did. And it's hard for you to compare it. But you know what helped me? Writing my own reasons to be grateful. Allowing myself to figure out what makes me so grateful. And so creating, like I said, the challenge I said for you guys to do is you don't have to do grateful journal. I want you to just start by every day. Every day is smelling, they say, give me my roses while I'm alive. Give yourself the roses while you're alive. We're waiting for somebody else to give us flowers. Give you your own flowers. So when you get, it could be a composition book. I don't care, but just don't let the pages be easily torn out. And then I want you to put today's date. If you're starting today, if you've already been following the Become Your Magic and you already started, I celebrate you for actually taking the initiative. I don't want to just be telling you to do stuff and you're not doing it. It's a waste of my breath and it's daggone sure a waste of your time. So if you are listening, if you are receiving what I'm saying, I need you to be in action for your attraction. I need you to go with me. Don't watch me go. Let's go together. And so if I am going to be honest about celebrating myself, I need to be writing it down. I need to know what I'm celebrating about myself. I don't need you to tell me what makes me great. I need to already know so that I have that confidence when I walk in a room. Because if I'm writing my I ams daily of, oh, I am great at this. I am a good listener. I am a good speaker. I am a good at understanding. I am whatever it is that it is your I am that you can say about yourself. I am very dependable. I am conscious, a conscientious worker. How about that? That means I'm not going to stop. I keep on going. So what is the I am? And so every day I want you to think of an I am that is specific to who you are. So that you can start to discover daily how many gifts, how many positive things that God has placed in you. And that you renew your mind instead of saying what I can't do, what I don't believe I have the ability to do. You are actually owning it. You are claiming it. You are actually operating in it. And so when you get your book, I want you to put the date that you start. And every single day, you only have to put one I am about yourself in it. Because after 30 days, I want you to go back. I want you to read that. I want you to be having the confidence to hire yourself. Why do you want to hire yourself? Because in hiring yourself, it allows you to what? To be intentional about the time that you have. And so day 6 said your attitude should reflect how high you want to go, not how low you have been. For anything to rise, it must start at a lower level. Do you hear that? You got to start from right where you are. You cannot rise. You cannot go any higher until you acknowledge the level that you are at, until you begin to pour. So for something else to rise, something must be poured into it. And so if I am here and I can acknowledge the here that I am, and then I started to open myself up to maybe different inspirational events for me personally, right? What caused me to rise? Being in the room with other people who are operating with that gift, allowing myself to be amongst fellow authors that are like promoting themselves, like, that causes me to rise. That causes me to rise. Seeing queens who started their own t-shirt lines or their businesses, that causes me to rise. Why? Because it is a desire. But I was willing to start where I was to rise up. I was willing to invest $100 for the information to level up. Like, you don't just show up. It don't just happen. You make life happen. And so your attitude should reflect where you're going. And so if I was in a place like, you know what? We ain't got no money. We got all these kids. Just forget about it. I'll just, maybe next lifetime I could dream. If I had put myself in that position at 40, I would not be where I am. And where I am, I can proudly say, as a mom of 5 amazing AB honor roll kids, 3 of them A's, 2 of them AB honor roll. A husband who is a dreamer himself now, who has multiple visions and goals right now to what? Multiply the legacy that we created. And for me, I had to sit down and say, I was home with 5 kids, 4 of them all under the age of 4 when I sat down and wrote my play, Picking Up the Broken Pieces. That was 10 years ago. The boys are turning 11, so they was a couple of months old, 2 at the same time, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I get to stand on this platform and tell you what I want and I expect for you to show up in yourself, because I did it. I did it with a full plate. And you know why I did it? Because I didn't leave excuses. It was because I did not sit in where I was. I dreamed of where I wanted to be. I am still aiming toward getting brand awareness, working on different ideas and focusing on trying to bring in a residual, an income that comes in thing, because you got to understand, every day I show up, we're planning on how can we pay something. As an entrepreneur, every day you get up to speak, you get up to serve, you get up to have products. Your day consists of, nobody gives you a check. Nobody. And so with nobody giving you a check, that means that you are in a far more intentional relationship, because I know that if I don't show up, then I won't make any money. If I don't show up, I won't be able to achieve these goals. If I don't show up, then I'm just wasting my breath. And so when I say that you need to understand where you are and reflect on where you're going, not where you've been, because that's what the dream came for. The dream was to set a momentum in you, to give you a sense of confidence through the evidence of what you created. And so when I get to sit here and say, okay, I'm now an author of 4 books, not 1, 2, 3, but 4, 2 children's books. I have a calendar. I have programs. I now have a line that I own. I choose me, hashtag no more excuses. The logo that everybody loves, it is mine. I own it. Why? Because I didn't wait for money to come to do it. I was showing up. I was showing up when I had nothing. When we were in the dark sometimes. We laugh about years ago how our power was off and we was just sitting in the dark like, oh my goodness. Not lighting candles is dreaming about showing up. And so every day I show up is because I believe in myself. I believe in what God said about me. I believe in where I want to go. And I'm going to work until I arrive there so that I can become the magic, so that I can be the evidence, so that we can become the proof. So when I see Oprah, and I've looked up to her for years, I realize that she stepped into every part of her life, that nobody gave her nothing, that it was an inside job. And she went through hell and back. And so I realized she showed me that there's no excuses. So when I say, when you show up and you tell your story, it leaves no excuses for somebody else to be like, well, you know what? It is what it is. No, it's not. It is what you make it. It is how you show up. That's what it is. And so I got to recognize that day 6 that I got stuck on is your attitude should reflect how high you want to go and not how low you have been. Not my pains, not what I've seen, not what I've been through. I created a whole totally different life for myself because I realized I get to create it. So when people say, oh, you lucky you got Rondell, I say, the hell with y'all. I picked Rondell. I picked him. We pick our choices. I stayed with somebody who honored who I was. We learned each other to grow up with each other. 19 and 20, that's some growing and learning. And so we didn't come complete. We did the work. We are 18 years in the game because we did the work. We committed as 19 and 20-year-olds. Come on. That's credit to be given. We didn't get stuck in we not having. We made do. To this day, we make do every single day with bills piling up in the pandemic. Why? Because we're entrepreneurs. All of most of my stuff happened for me. What? Being outside in the world, having events every month. That was my life. Now I got to create a whole new platform, all virtually. So that's a different shift. Did I say, you know what? I done worked all this time. Forget about it? No. I know that I create my reality. I know that if I want something, I got to show up in it so that God can meet me where he is. And so that's why I want to encourage you guys with this Become Your Magic Power Hour, that you are mastering your masterpiece. The question is, what do you want it to look like? What do you want your story to say? You're writing it. And so we can choose to make excuses, which is why I say I choose me, hashtag no more excuses. I didn't allow excuses to stop me from showing up. I didn't allow excuses to stop me from doing what I was doing, because while Rondell was out working and doing all the many different jobs that he had to do in order to keep us afloat all these years, that I was home finding other things to do. So when we get to a point now, that investment can have a return. And so now, because I was able to invest that $100 before the pandemic, I said, well, now I have the option to what? Maybe sell a shirt or two, sell a book or two, show up in however I can to make the difference, to help myself, to help my dream, to walk it like I talk it. So it's not enough for me to put a mansion on a vision board without having steps to get to it. It's not enough for me to put, I want to start an I Choose Me movement and not start an I Choose Me movement. We got to stop talking about what we want and just do it. Do it without knowing. There was no details. Most of the stuff I know to this day was because I've grown into it. I've learned as I've gone. I've been in the presence of different people who shared. And that's what the key is. That's why it's so important for us to know where we are and share, because we make all the difference. We really impact the world. Day 7, believe that you were built for the ride, that you have a special design with only you in mind to get you to where you were born to go. We made it to day 7, you guys. If you guys don't already have this book, you're missing out on 365 days of loving yourself to life, becoming the gift you were always meant to be. It's been said to be a young girl's guide to success and a seasoned woman's check back into reality. It is a Queen's Bible, basic instructions before living effortlessly. It's actually a King's Bible. I have so many kings that have gotten the book and said it has transformed them, because what I realize is that it's about the soul of you. While it was personal for me because I'm a woman and I'm a girl and I dealt with traumas, and I wanted to teach women to love themselves no matter what their story looks like, because All that you've been through is what makes you so beautiful. That was my mission when I started. But I'm going to tell you, God will evolve you from time to time, because what I realized is this is a soul relationship. And that if we all would get into better relationships with the soul of us, then there will be no work to be done. I said, if I take care of me and you take care of you, what will be left to do? There's so much left to do because people are worrying about everything else instead of home. If everybody took the energy to worry about home, then when you looked out, there will be nothing left to do but connect. Connect. And so my faith is that we will do our personal work so that we can get to the point where we connect like we were intended to do, that we connect like our gift has made room for us to do. And so we got to get past the work on ourselves in order to be a great connection that God created for somebody else. And so that's the idea. That's the whole mission. That's the whole point, is that self-love initiative, that it starts with us. And so we are already at the 55-minute hour. Thank you guys for being on. And what we're going to do, hey, we're going to find an I am card right now. Are you guys ready? So right now is a time that we are blessed with the opportunity to figure out what is the I am that God would have us to know. Today we talked about 365 days of loving yourself to life, recognizing that you are becoming the gift you were always created to be. And so how we show up daily in our pains and our powers, and knowing that the journey and the climb was getting us to that mountaintop experience, we will be able to love ourselves through every indiscretion, because we recognize that is not in spite of, but because of those things that we get to be who we were called to be. We were called to be a solution. We were called to be the answer. We were called to show up. And so right now, God, I ask that you would give us a special I am that perhaps some people could just put in their book for today's date to represent the I am that is them. And so right now, as I close my eyes, God, okay. Look at the word he gave us today. I am determined. Yeah. I am determined, right? I am determined down, because that's what it took. That is what it took for me to be an author of 4 books, for me to start a 501c3 without knowing nothing about it. Let me tell you, nothing. To the point where we got a return, our income tax return. And I went to my husband. I said, can we take some to get somebody to create my nonprofit? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to set it up. I got this amazing queen, Miss Maria Macon, who was able to take me through the steps, help me understand. I knew what I wanted. I just didn't know the language. So I had to invest in that. And so the sacrifice that we made and where we are is because of determination. So I am determined to be the investment that God created me to be. I am determined to turn that pain into power. I am determined to resurrect from every trauma in order to be the light that I am. And you have to be determined too. And so it's not just about where you are, but it's more importantly about who you are. And if who you are isn't determined to make that voice matter, if who you are isn't determined to help somebody else out of a storm that maybe you went through, if who you are isn't determined to leave a legacy that goes far beyond your voice, your presence, your flesh, if who you are isn't determined to recognize that it starts with 365 days of loving yourself to life, of a commitment to the you want to be. And so you have to be able to put your I ams every day, so that you can remind yourself in those moments when you're sitting down trying to figure out, well, what do I want? I hate this. I'm always sitting here trying to figure out. Just go through your book. Remind yourself of your I ams, and then start to say, well, what do I like? And how can I apply the I ams into my likes so that I can take this mindset and become who only I can be? That's the question. And so I'm just so grateful that you have spent this power hour with me, that you have plugged in to become your magic by igniting all those abracadabra moments that make you so amazing. I am determined. Thank you, Aunt Karen. And that's what life is all about. It's about celebrating the I am that is you. It is about showing up because you can, because life is waiting on you. God is waiting on his return in the investment. And so, as I often say, it is a relay race, and somebody is relying on you to turn your heartbeat into a soul beat in order to leave a soul print. Because the fingerprint, it tells us what we got wrong in this world, but the soul print, it tells us what we got right. And what God got right is you. And so I need you to show up in the determination that is you, because you have something that the world has never seen. And knowing that is the core of your self-esteem. Come on now. Self-love initiative is the key. So you must be determined. You must validate yourself. You must love on the you that God created you to be. And so you've been listening to the Queen of Soul Stirring Inspiration, where you have plugged in to the Become Your Magic Power Hour, where we ignite abracadabra moments that lead us to our magic. You got to remember that you are a supernatural force, and that you can never turn on anybody else's light, but you can provide enough light for them to find their switch. So it is your responsibility to stay lit in this world so somebody can find their way out of the darkness. If you have been inspired by anything that you heard, please feel free to find some abracadabra tools at either preciouspaulin.com, or you can go to iChooseMeBlingBoutique.company.site. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting the instruments, getting the tools that are going to lead you to the victory, that are going to leave you determined. I can promise you, anything you find at I Choose Me Bling Boutique or preciouspaulin.com will leave you determined. So, without further ado, I will see you guys tomorrow at 12 noon in order to ignite another abracadabra moment that will lead you closer to the magic that is you. Love you guys. Take care of your souls. And remember, I choose me. Hashtag no more excuses, because you were born enough. Bye-bye. Take care of those souls, my love.